All right, y'all. Welcome back. Welcome back here to another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast. Of course, me myself as always, Sanders here, and of course, Dupree is here with me as well.
Yeah, man. Yeah, yeah. We here, man. We here with another one. Crazy. Which should have been a crazy day. I don't know if it really was, but it should have been a little more hectic than what it turned out to be.
Yeah. Little light today. But either way, a lot going on. Obviously, the trade deadline was today in the NBA. They got the NFL honors going on right now. We are literally just 2 or 3 days away, 3 days away here from Super Bowl 58. So starting to ramp up here. The unfortunate end is near for the NFL season. it's, I promise you, bro. I don't know what it is about football season, bro. Like
It
it
go by so
just
fast, man. Oh, it goes
you
by
know what I
so
mean?
fast.
Like
It's ridiculous, dude.
and it's wild because this happens and then like before we know it, like it'll be April and the draft will be here, and then we'll be getting ready for OTAs and preseason all over again. But then it's just gonna seem like it's just like every
Yeah,
time,
it
bro. Like every
it goes by
time,
so fast, dude. It goes by so fast. It's crazy.
yeah, every time. So I'm like, that's just, yeah, that's wild. But yeah, a little light this week, nothing too crazy, but still a lot to get into. Um, a quick little nugget here uh, for it being the 8th, 2024 in February 2/8/24. We just saw one of three statues that is going to be revealed for the late great Kobe Bean Bryant.
Hmm.
The first one we saw here tonight unveiled it's actually a replica from the night that Kobe Bryant scored 81 points,
81. Yep.
which technically they say it's the second most in NBA history. I know we got the 100 point from Wilt, but we have yet to see. It's crazy how we see footage of everything else from back then, but we have yet to get footage of this 100 point game. But that's not a story for another day. So I'm gonna just say the most points that I ever seen witnessed in the time that I've been alive, we've been that
Hmm.
81 score by Kobe Bryant. Real quick on that, like when you first saw it, what did you think? Like, was it?
Well, I thought it was initially when I first saw it, I thought it was something that somebody just kind of like, yeah, this is the first one, like, well, something fake or something like that.
Yeah,
Um, I know a lot of people that I've seen on social media already. A lot of people are not, they don't think too highly about the first one. I didn't know that there were three of them. So the fact that there are two more supposedly makes me feel better. Also, too, Vanessa Bryant came out and like, this is one that he picked. So like, if he picked it,
we gotta
I
respect it.
then
Yeah,
I mean, hey, it is what it is. Like
right.
the man picked it. Like so, if he picked it, and there's still gonna be two other ones, then I'm cool with it. And I've seen a lot of different things, or which one should which moment should it be? Should one with the jersey in the mouth, or pulling the jersey, or fade away, whatever it's going to be. But he's Kobe Bryant, and he picked that one, so the Lakers made it. So I have no issue if he picked that, then that's it. I don't have any. Of course, there are a lot of I've seen some stuff where people are like, "What is that?" It's like,
Yeah,
who picked that? I'm like, hey, bro, if he picked it, okay, I mean, no.
yeah. Same for me. I was kind of like when I first saw it, I was like, okay. I was like, could have been better. Then I realized, oh, okay, that is in reference to the 81 point game. I'm like, all right, that is monumental. That's like
Yes,
that's
that's
history
a
we
big
haven't
moment.
seen as far as like modern era. I mean, we seen guys score 70, but we have yet to see anybody come close to his 81 um since then once he got it. So I was just kind of like, okay. And then once I saw that, hearing that when Vanessa Bryant went up there and said that Kobe chose this one, I was like, okay, I gotta respect it. If that's what he chose,
That's
we
it.
we gonna live by that. We gonna ride by that, and that's what it is. And I think it was in the same press conference, or I saw it somewhere. That's why I say supposedly. So I'm not 100% true on if that's correct or not. But saying that it was gonna be three of them, so I'm like, oh, okay. Well, if it's gonna be three, then obviously there's probably gonna be another one with the number 24. So that's got to be one of them. I was thinking maybe we would see Kobe with the fro, far with eight Kobe, but
Okay.
you know, I understand. So I mean, but like you said, the fact that they saying there's supposed to be two more statues that's gonna be there, I'm okay with this one, and that's fine.
Mhm.
And if Kobe said that this is the one Kobe picked, I'm gonna be quiet because,
Roll with it. That's
oh
it.
yeah, we just gonna roll with it. So it is what it is, but very monumental. A great day out there out west in LA for that time for them to celebrate the life and the legacy of Kobe Bryant. So definitely big shout outs to that. Other news in the NBA, of course, the trade deadline was today. Usually it's a lot more hectic in years past than it was this year. Not too much, and I guess because if you think about it, most of the stars or big name guys that we know of kind of got traded, earlier in the season. I mean, like Harden got moved earlier from Brooklyn to the Clippers. I mean, we know the Knicks had OG Anunoby from the Raptors, so it's just kind of like
Mhm.
the only, I guess you can say, big name person that you were hearing a lot in possible trade talks was DeJounte Murray. Um, at one point, you were hearing Zach LaVine, you know, but obviously Levine's done I believe done for the year, if I'm not mistaken, or at least out for an extended period of time. So no chance of Chicago moving him. And of course Murray didn't get moved at all, so he's staying put in Atlanta. But you had a number of trades that ended up happening. The Knicks were very active. Ended up getting Bojan Bogdanovic and Alec
Mhm.
Burks. Gordon Hayward gets traded from Charlotte over to Oklahoma City. The
Mhm.
Sixers end up getting Buddy Hield. I mean, just a few trades to name right then and there. What was I guess what was your either most shocking trade, or what was like the trade that you feel like helped that specific team to help themselves better as they get ready for the second half push of the season?
And the one that I see now that I didn't see when it happened is Pat Bev to the Bucks.
Yeah.
Patrick Beverly to the Milwaukee Bucks. Milwaukee was in desperate need of help on the defensive end of the floor. They needed help. When you lost Drew Holiday, you lost piece of that defense, especially perimeter defense. Dame Dollar, Damian Lillard is a great basketball player, is a great offensive player, great scorer in this league, one of the best scorers in this league. He is not great defensively. So you lost that perimeter defense when you lost Drew Holiday. Getting Patrick Beverly in there brings a guy who can play perimeter defense. He can play the point. He can bring the ball up the court. He brings leadership. He brings a pit bull mentality, a tenacity to that team that should be and will be good for them. Because if you want to play teams and beat teams with the likes of Boston, or would say Philly, but with Joel Embiid down, but you want to play and beat Boston, you're probably going to get beat them to go to the finals. You need a guy that's going to be able to match up with a Jaylen Brown or a Jason Tatum. You're going to need something, and he might not guard Jason Tatum because Jason Tatum is 6'10", but you need somebody to be able to match with Jaylen Brown. You need something, and being able to have that help in the backcourt on the defensive end on the floor, I think that bodes well for the Bucks. Um, and then I think Gordon Hayward to Oklahoma City, I think that's a good pickup. That's a veteran guy coming over to a young basketball team with not a lot of experience, especially playoff experience. You get a guy, a veteran, who's been in the playoffs, who's playing some meaningful games, who can help lead this team and kind of help guide them into the postseason. Um, I don't know, I don't know how much he helps on the floor. I think he will help on the floor because he can still play in those things. I think he's more of a leader in the locker room, that wily veteran who can these guys can lean on when those times come in March and April. So those two for sure, but Pat Bell to the Bucks, I think is big. I think that's big for Milwaukee. They needed help on defense. They needed some help on defense. And again, Patrick Beverly, I think, is definitely a good move for them.
Yeah, for me, the two for me, which the one I mentioned earlier was Buddy Hield to the Sixers. I thought that was a pretty decent move for them,
Mm-hmm.
to get them some more perimeter shooting, um, especially to kind of help out with Tyrese Maxey, just to kind of cut down his minutes some. That way he's not overexerting himself as
Mm-hmm.
they deal with this time of not having Joel Embiid out in the lineup. I think that's very, very crucial that they end up getting somebody in who can, um, not necessarily say like just be a ball handler, but who is efficient enough or capable enough to, to put the ball in the basket. That's pretty much what they need out of him. And with the Knicks getting Bogdanovich and Burks, just to add on to their second unit, that they got to just give them some more depth that they need. I know Coach Thibs is very I don't even want to say old school. I don't even know how to describe it, but he normally a rotation is about 9 to 10, and yeah, it does get cut down to like 8 in the playoffs, but like Thibs roll with like 7, and he works the hell out of the starters. So it's just kind of like, you know, hopefully they'll know to try to get these guys involved and to help out with that depth and that second unit for sure. Especially give them the reps and give them time now, because I know that they I don't know when Anunoby is coming back. I think he was dealing with a minor injury. Julius Randle is out with a little injury too. So just to kind of get them guys in the flow, get them rolling, so then that way they don't feel, lost in the shuffle. And then for them, when it comes to March, April, you will want those guys to be in the rotation and to be confident in that rotation, because like I said, Thibs he's gonna work the starters for sure. That's just what he does. I can't really explain why it's like that, but that's just how he is. So those two teams for me, definitely I feel like made some big moves. And then now we got teams who ended up, or players who ended up not moving, staying put. Like I mentioned earlier, DeJounte Murray staying in Atlanta. Every year we're always hearing about the Lakers possibly making a move during the trade. Well, they didn't do anything. Um, at one point, I know there was people trying to see about Miles Bridges out in Charlotte, but he decided that he didn't want to go anywhere. He wanted to stay in Charlotte. So, um, are there any teams that you were surprised that they couldn't get a deal done or didn't move anybody or try to do anything during the deadline?
The Lakers, you're below 500. All the talk has been about DeJounte Murray. They're trying to get some help in the backcourt. They were interested in DeJounte Murray before Zach LaVine went down. So Zach LaVine, like all these different guys, you needed help, and nothing. You don't trade anybody. You don't try to get anybody picks. Nothing. You don't make a move. That raises questions for me. Like, are because I know they don't believe that this team is going to be able to win the champion. This team, as presently constructed, is not going to win the championship. So, what's the play? What's the move? Like, what are they thinking? Um, I don't know. That surprised me. I was hoping selfishly that the Hawks didn't get rid of DeJounte Murray, especially since he had been playing a whole lot better down the stretch, especially these last couple of weeks leading up to the trade deadline. He been playing a whole lot better. So I'm kind of glad that the Hawks didn't get rid of him. But yeah, just the fact that the Lakers didn't make any moves. What is their what's the end goal? I guess is my question. Like, what is LeBron not gonna not gonna resign? Like, is he gonna opt out of that 50 mil? Like, what's I don't get it because that's LA to win championships, and this team is not gonna win a championship. And you didn't make any moves to improve the roster. So unless you believe that this team can get it done, which I don't believe that LeBron thinks that, I don't believe that management thinks that. There's got to be something else going on, uh, a bigger plan as to why they didn't make a move. So that one definitely shocked me that they didn't do anything. That'd be the one for me.
Man, I think they being the Lakers didn't really make any moves or try to make a move was because of I think outside of wanting I guess to try to push for
Mm-hmm.
DeJounte Murray, there wasn't anything else out there for them to really just to be like, okay, if we get this guy to come in, this drastically changes the landscape of where we are, where we rank ourselves like in the West. I mean, you know, it's that top. I mean, it's so bundled, it's so bunched up right now with the Clippers and the Thunder and
Mm-hmm.
the T Wolves and the Nuggets. I mean, it's like it's them, and then it's a gap, in a way between everybody else. So it's just kind of like, is there anything out there for you to even catapult yourself up to that tier of where they are? And it's not. So I I think I'm with you. I think that they got something maybe brewing up here for the off season. Maybe they're
Mm-hmm.
looking for there to where there's something that comes along and they got maybe a long term plan after the season. I don't think they really saw anything to where they could do something now that'll make
Yeah,
a difference. Um, and then I just think, I mean, even if they had the pieces that they got to wanting to trade away, I don't know if anybody else really wanted them. Like, I mean, you kept hearing for weeks about D'Angelo Russell, but it was like, did anybody really want
D'Angelo Russell.
D'Angelo Russell? So it's just kind of
Yeah.
like, I think they were just kind of stuck in a pretty much like a conundrum, right? Like, I mean, they probably wanted to make a move, but who was out there for them to get? And then
Mm-hmm.
who would want something in return to feel like that this is going to be of equal value to where they both can be beneficial for each other, for each respective team or teams that could have been, in the trade talk. So um, they they have to have something that they're thinking about and brewing up probably long term for come the off season. I mean, because it's just a team that they can get to the playoffs. Yes, possibly, when guys are healthy and they're all playing and everything like that. But I mean, I can't see them making a run like to the Western Conference Finals like they did a season ago or
No.
anything like that. This is at best this is like a play-in team. If we being real. So, you know, I don't know what they might have, and with the Hawks, I don't think it would have been a good idea to move Dejounte Murray either. I think, not even trying to sound selfish about it, I just don't think it would have been a good idea. Like, I don't see what they would have gotten out of that neither. So I'm like, just, I mean, you've already made the trade for him. Why would you want to
Yeah,
trade
and you
him?
lost all those picks to get him
Yeah,
too. Like
yeah.
the Lakers can't give you any picks back. So they don't have any.
Right. They don't have any. You know what I mean? So I'm like,
Yeah,
I don't know. Like 'cause I know a couple of guys in the group chat earlier was, when we first heard the news about like Gordon Hayward being traded, and I know one of the guys was like, man, I don't really like that move for the Thunder. But then I'm like, man, we got like 60 draft picks though. I'm over exaggerating. They don't have that many,
yeah.
but they
That
they
what
got
it
so
seemed
many.
like.
I
The
mean, they
boys
could
got at least
just,
three. So they got three each draft. And like
yeah.
ain't nothing
So
but
I'm
two
like,
rounds. How you got three
yeah.
picks?
So it's like, it's okay. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we need the veteran presence there for it and everything like that. So, you know, I don't know, man. It is what it is. But I mean, a lot of other teams made some moves too. You can kind of tell, like Memphis moved a lot of guys, swapping
Yeah.
picks, everything like that. So you can, I hate to throw the T word out there, but you can tell that this is they've they shifted gears and they've moved on to 2024, 25, basically. Like
Mm-hmm.
they already on the next season. We'll start all over, get everybody back healthy, and then can figure that out. So I don't know, but that was going on in the league and the association. Teams getting ready to get wind up here for the All-Star break is that's coming along next weekend. So I know the guys are definitely looking forward to that just to kind of
Mm-hmm.
get that rest and everything. So that's what's going on over there in the association. Moving on now to the league. It's here.
Real quick,
Yeah,
real
what's up?
quick, man. Before we get into it, the 2024 Pro Football Hall of Fame class was announced
Ooh,
tonight.
ooh.
So the newest members of the Pro Football Hall of Fame: defensive end Dwight Freeney, linebacker Randy Gradishar, played for the Denver Broncos from 1974 to 1983. Devin Hester, Andre Johnson,
Oh, that means somebody is not going to. Oh, okay.
Steve McMichael, defensive tackle, who played for the, the New England Patriots in 1980. Spent 12 years with the Chicago Bears in his career in Green Bay in 1994. Julius Peppers, Patrick Willis. Those are your 7 inductees for the Pro Football Hall of Fame.
Oh,
I have
it,
one.
two two names I didn't hear.
I have one. What are your 2?
Antonio Gates,
Yeah.
Torrey Holt.
So I know Antonio Gates. This was Antonio Gates' first year being eligible. This is Antonio Gates' first year being eligible
Okay,
for it. Torrey has been on the ballot for a minute. I would say at least a couple years now. What my one name is Fred Taylor.
yeah,
What does Fred Taylor have to do to get into the Hall of Fame, man?
it's not his fault, bro. You know why. You know why.
I know. I know they were not good. I
They,
know they
they,
weren't good while he was there. I know that.
but if
But
you look at his numbers,
if you look at the numbers, the man,
his his
the
his numbers are better than some of the guys that they have in the Hall of Fame. Just
man. So it's like I don't know what my man. I think he'll get in, but it's like, golly,
how
like
much long? Right? How much longer we got to
what is the
keep
man had to
waiting?
like? I get it, man. Like the teams were bad. I get it. I understand that. All right, but all these dudes, all these San Francisco teams that Patrick Willis were on, all these teams were not good. San Francisco used to be the laughing stock. Used San Francisco was not good in 2007. Let's keep it a buck. The Panthers were not good. Why Julius Peppers was they weren't great teams. They had that one team they made the run to the Super Bowl that one year. But they weren't great teams when he was on. So I don't know, man. But
Now was he on the Packers squad when they went to the Super Bowl that year? Was he there by then or was he still in Carolina? Like I know at one point he went to Green Bay, but I can't think of
he
when.
went to Green Bay. That was 14 through 16. So he
Oh, okay.
was
So he
not on
wasn't
that
he wasn't
team.
there. Okay. I couldn't
Mm-mm,
remember when he got to Green Bay, so I'm like, okay.
mm-mm.
Uh
But congratulations. I want to say congratulations to those 7 inductees. Like I said, Dwight Freeney, Randy Grishar, Devin Hester, Andre Johnson, Steve McMichael, Patrick Willis, Julius Peppers, man. Congrats to those 7, man. Definitely dudes, especially, I mean, out of those 7, 5 of those dudes we've been able to watch.
right.
We were able to watch and see them do their thing. Those definitely guys that dominated the game at a high level. Especially, I'm happy that Devin Hester got in, man. Like, I think he should have got in last year. He
Yeah.
should have been the first ballot. But I'm glad that he's getting in, man. The way he changed the game and the way he affected games. It was apparent. You saw it in his rookie year. I mean, you saw what he did in his rookie year, returning punts and kicks. It was ridiculous. To break Dion's um, record for most punt returns in the career, like it's just those numbers speak for themselves, man. So I'm especially happy for Devin Hester. But congrats to those 7 men um, for that. I didn't want to cut you off.
No, that's I forgot that they was. It's kind of weird because they doing the honors like tonight instead of Saturday, so it's kind of like throwing everything off a little
It throws
bit.
you off
But
a little. That schedule is a little
yeah,
different.
yeah, it's
Hmm
a little different. But I'm not mad at that. I mean, I hate that some guys got left off
hmm
um, on that, but I mean, I can understand because uh, there's only so many spots that they can put in there for this modern era now. So, and it's just I don't know, it's kind of weird. Not weird, but it's just no, I don't want to say weird, but it's kind of like when you think about some of the guys that we just mentioned who did make it. It's kind of like when will it be their turn? Because you're starting to think. I don't know who's eligible for it next year, but we start. There's gonna be even more guys who's been retiring, who's retired, been retiring. I
Yeah,
know is it 6 or 7 years that they have to wait before they're eligible. I can't remember.
it
So
might be. It might be like 6,
so for 25, and then you're talking about the guys who retired when 20 in like 2018, 2019.
something like that. Yeah,
So is that who is that? Is that off the top? I can think that's maybe Eli Manning. I know he's
yeah.
somewhere
You might get. You
retired
might start
around
getting
that
close to some of
time.
that Eli Manning,
Yeah,
Ben
Ben
Roethlisberger,
Roethlisberger. So
Philip Rivers, some of
yeah.
those
So I'm
type of
like,
guys. You
okay,
might start getting
we
close
get
to
we
those
getting we
dudes.
getting to them. So now I'm like, all right, how much long, how much long, but I mean, for some of them, I can kind of understand. I mean, because I don't get it, but for some reason they made these them Rams wide receivers wait. Like Isaac Bruce had to wait for a few years. It's
He had
crazy.
to wait
Like
for a while.
Kurt Warner was like automatic. Marshall Falk was like automatic. Like
They were part of the greatest show on turf,
they
man.
was
What's
part of the
up?
greatest show on
They was
turf
a
too.
big
Like
part of that. Yeah, I'm about to say, like,
Orlando Pace was automatic. Like
yeah.
gosh, how much longer they got to keep waiting? I mean,
hmm
I get it. Don't get me wrong. I know towards the end, the Rams when they were St. Louis wasn't that good anymore when
hmm
Torrey was still there. But I mean, goodness, like he put up numbers too. But
Yeah.
um, I don't know. But yeah, they got to find a way to get Freddie T in there, bro.
So we got to
He's
get in
not.
there too.
Yeah, he's knocking on the door. But they got to find a way to get him in there, bro. And they just got to, if they can put in an offensive lineman from Jacksonville to get up in there, who didn't even play that long. I can't even. No disrespect to. I can't even think his name right now. It's Tony something. It's like an Italian name. I can't even think of it, bro. I mean,
Yeah.
he was a great offensive line, but I'm like, dang, he only played like 6, 7 years, bro. Like Freddie T played what at least 12, I think, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, bro.
He was there. Well, he was in Jacksonville from '98 to 2000 to 2008, and then
And I know
went and
the
played in New
tail end
England
he
for a
went to New
year or
England
two.
for a couple
Yeah.
years, so I'm like, that's what I'm saying. That's at least 12. We talking at least 12 right there. So I'm like, I don't know. He had the longevity, but I don't know, man. I know the Hall of Fame could be subjective for some things, so
hmm No doubt.
it it is what it is. But for sure, congratulations to those guys. All deserving, all deserving.
For sure.
I'll never say that nobody doesn't deserve to get in it. I mean,
hmm
because you know I'm not the biggest Eli Manning fan. His record was 500 overall, but he beat the GOAT twice. Can you deny that? Yeah, yeah, I mean,
Yeah. It's
I'm just
tough.
saying. So it's
Yeah.
gonna be
It's
like, and
tough.
I know people are gonna be like, oh, it's the last name. I guess, but at the same
He
time, like he beat the
he had to
GOAT
go.
twice.
He won two of them.
He beat the GOAT
Iron
twice.
Man and Eli Manning did do his thing. Like it was, like, we ain't gonna act like he didn't like he couldn't play ball.
Yeah.
He played ball, you know what I'm saying? But he just, they didn't do like you say. He's 500. They won as much as they lost. But when it was time to win, Eli
Hey,
won. When it
hey,
was time to win, Eli won, and he won against, like you said, the best to do it. He could have nine, and Eli Manning was like, "Yeah, nah, we can go ahead and stop that twice. We're gonna put a stop to them two right there."
for
So,
sure. But I mean, it is what it is, man. Hall of Fame is definitely something that that's describing of legacies, man. And
Mm-hmm.
speaking of legacies, obviously we know the Super Bowl coming up here, Super Bowl 58. We got the Kansas City Chiefs, San Francisco 49ers,
Mm-hmm.
meeting up once again, second time in 4 years. Uh, Two historic franchises, and it's a lot at stake, right? I mean, far as like team wise, Kansas City once again is trying to become the first team to repeat since the
Mm-hmm.
2003 2004 Patriots. They tried to do it. They tried to do it in 21, was unsuccessful against the Buccaneers and Tom Brady. And then San Francisco hadn't won a Super Bowl since the 1994 season, and looking to get their sixth ring overall as a franchise, and that would put them up
Mm-hmm.
there with only the Steelers and the Patriots to only have six rings or more. So, um, historically, a lot is on the line. Pat Mahomes
Yep.
trying to get his third ring, trying to establish himself, and then you got Brock Purdy. I think the third youngest quarterback to start in the Super Bowl, Mr. Irrelevant 2 years ago in the Super Bowl.
Crazy.
It's just it's a lot, right? When you look at this matchup, right? Like, what's the like one matchup or a couple of matchups that you're um very anxious to see, or wanting to see what's going to happen on this Sunday?
Will Kyle Shanahan run the football? We talked about it. We talked about it last week with the conference championship games and how these teams play Kansas City, and their bread and butter, what they do and what has been successful for them all year is running the football. And then they get into a game with Kansas City against Patrick Mahomes, and they decide they have to go out there and throw the ball 40 times to be able to win. Buffalo had success running the football in the first half and then stopped in the second half. Baltimore had the top rushing attack in the NFL all year and then went out there and Lamar threw the ball 30 plus times or whatever it was. The Kansas City Chiefs are susceptible to giving up runs, big runs. Their runs defense is not great. Will Kyle Shanahan stick to his guns and hand the ball off to Christian McCaffrey? I believe that he will. You got one of the best, if not the best, running back in football right now. He just won Offensive Player of the Year. Christian McCaffrey just won Offensive Player of the Year. That's the best running back in football. Give him the ball. Give him the football. Will Kyle Shanahan stick to his guns and run the football? Regardless if they're up, if it's tight, whatever it is, whatever situation is, will he stick to their run game? That's the biggest thing for me. If he goes out there and he tries to have Brock Purdy drop back and throw the ball 30 plus times, they're going to lose this football game. I'm going to let everybody know right now. They're not going to win this game if he has to go out there, Brock Purdy go out there and throw the ball 40 times. Because now you're trying to get into a duel with Patrick Mahomes, and he just does not have the talent. Patrick Mahomes just is on another level. All right. Will you stick to the run game? That's the biggest thing for me. Above anything else, if San Francisco does not run this football on Sunday, y'all might as well go ahead and go to Kansas City. Take the Lombardi, all the Swifties, all that. Go ahead and get ready for the parade because it's over. Will he run the ball? That's it. That's all I'm concerned about.
Man, for me, I'm looking at the offensive line for Kansas City and this defensive line for San Francisco. Uh, Especially more so Nick Bosa against these offensive tackles. Um, for some reason, the offensive tackles for Kansas City, they always get called for a lot of holdings. And Nick Bosa is, up there with one of the better pass rushers in the league. They got their work cut out for him. And now granted, they did okay a little bit last year against the pass rush from
Hmm.
Philadelphia. But
They did.
the last time before that, Granted, I know they were down a couple of offensive linemen, but Patrick Mahomes was R. Kelly out there. He was fighting for his life. You know what I mean? Like for real. He was fighting for his life.
Tampa Bay had him out
So,
there
I, you, you know what I mean? Like running,
running.
like running for his life, bro. So it's just wanting to see if they can keep their protection up for him. I mean, for the most part, the offensive line has done pretty good. I know they're gonna be missing Joe Tooney. Is more than likely he's not going to play, dealing with that pectoral muscle that he got happened to him in the divisional round against Buffalo. But definitely looking out for that. It's just because I just feel like I know it's cliche to say, but it's true, right? The game is usually won or lost right there on that line of scrimmage in the
Mm-hmm.
trenches, clearly. So, in the way that really both of these defenses have been playing, you can say the same thing really for the other side of the ball too. How well would this offensive line hold up for against that defensive line against Kansas City with San Francisco? You want to talk about running the ball. Yeah, can they run the ball and can they run it effectively? Um, and not to try to stay away from it, they being San Francisco, because
Mm-hmm.
even though like numbers wise, Kansas City is hard to run on. I mean, also they just not giving up any points, man. I think the numbers say that they only giving up like 13, a little just under 14 points this playoffs, and that's
Mm-hmm.
like right at the top of near just in history here of the playoffs. So this defense has just been I don't want to say they've been stingy against the run, but just they've been very opportunistic, right? You
Yeah,
know,
no doubt.
they getting turnovers, making the stops whenever they can, turning those into points, giving the short field to Mahomes and the crew. Um, they just I don't it's something obviously that's what's so different about Kansas City this year than in years past. So the fact that they really have a defense that they can
Mm-hmm.
travel with and they can just go wherever and they can pretty much keep them in any games when we know the offense have had times this year to where they've struggled. So definitely just the battle of the line of scrimmage, the trenches between both offensive and defensive lines is definitely the matchup that I'm looking at. Who are some X factors that you got in this one that needs to probably have the game of their life?
You mentioned one, man. I think Nick Bosa, Chase Young. I'm just that defensive front, that defensive line for San Francisco. It's one thing to get pressure. It's one thing to get pressure. You got to get Patrick Mahomes on the ground. You got to get Patrick Mahomes on the ground. So Nick Bosa, you the guy. You're the guy in San Fran, especially on that D line. You're gonna get a lot of attention. Hey man, when you get those one-on-one matchups, like it's time to go get money. You got to go get Pat Mahomes on the ground, and it's not going to be enough to just get pressure because Buffalo and Baltimore got pressure. He extended plays, and both those squads got burnt because they did not get him on the ground. So I think Chase Young is definitely a X factor. I think San Francisco's secondary. I didn't. There's not really one person because I don't know who's going to match up with who. I don't. Is Snead going to match up with Debo? Or is he going to match up with Ayuk? Who is McDuffie going to guard? You would imagine that Jordan Reed is going to check George Kittle. Okay, he's going to check Kittle. Is Willie Gay going to be on? Well, now Willie Gay might not even be on because Willie Gay. I don't know. Is he? Will he be playing? I know he was hurt last week.
uh I'm not sure. If I'm not mistaken
Okay.
though, I want to say most of the guys who were on the injury report for Kansas City were all like full participants in this
Okay.
last practice. So it's looking like the trajectory of them is
It's to
everybody's going to
play.
play. Yeah.
Okay. So does Nick Bolton match up with Christian McCaffrey or does Willie Gay? I'd imagine it'd probably be Nick Bolton. Just the secondary in those matchups, who do those guys match up with? Um, because I do believe that San Francisco is going to try to establish a run game, but when it's time to throw the ball, who matches up with who? I just don't know I'm interested to see the matchup. I just don't know what it's going to look like, right? I don't know if who really is who the Snead match up with, right?
Yeah,
Because I think he's physical enough to match up with Debo because Debo is a big, strong, physical guy. I don't know if McDuffie is big enough to check Ayuk. Okay, you put Snead on Ayuk. Okay, you put a bigger guy on Ayuk. Debo is a big dude. I don't know how big McDuffie is, but Debo's a big physical dude that can fly. So I don't, what does that look like? So I'm for San Fran is that defensive front, especially Nick Bosa. That's the X factor for me for San Francisco is Nick Bosa getting Patrick Mahomes on the ground. For Kansas City, I think it's the secondary. I'm going secondary. How do they match up with all the weapons that San Fran can throw at them? You throw Juwan Jennings in there as well. He makes some big plays as well. How do those guys match up with all the weapons that San Francisco has at their disposal?
yeah. For me, it's the Kansas City wide receivers. Um,
Okay.
I
Okay.
think coming into it, I'm pretty sure Baltimore had a game plan and wanted the game plan to make sure that Travis Kelce didn't get his, but he
Mm-hmm.
got his. You know, and I think San Francisco will make sure that they find a way that they can contain Travis Kelce. I don't know if they'll shut him down, but just contain. They don't. They can't have 11 for 116 for sure. Because you tell me
Especially a lot of that in the first half.
if I don't watch the game and you tell me that Travis Kelce went 11 for 116 in the touchdown, I'm saying Kansas City Chiefs won the game. Like off rip, you know what I'm saying? Because I'm like,
Yeah,
he got his, y'all couldn't stop him.
he
Yeah,
went off.
it's a
Yeah, it's
it's a
over.
wrap. You know, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, it's the wide receivers, right, and not necessarily like having to necessarily have to have like a just a big game, but just to kind of alleviate that pressure to where Mahomes can trust to go to these guys. I mean, like last week, they didn't make a lot of big splash plays, but like Marquez Valdez-Scantling finally caught a pass and made
Mm-hmm.
like the biggest catch of the game last week.
Mm-hmm.
A couple weeks ago against the Ravens. So I think the secondary knows. I think San Francisco secondary knows that hey, we're gonna key in on Travis Kelce. Let's probably double him, see whoever we want to put on him. Um, you know, then after that, it's like, okay, who do we want to try to lock down next? Uh, are we wanting? Are we just gonna keep Ward on one side? Or are we gonna have him travel a certain guy? Like if Kelsey lines up out wide to his side, is he gonna get him or whatever they're gonna do? Which I think
Mm-hmm.
Steve Wilkes is gonna match it up to how he wants to match it up. But obviously, the top two key guys that you got to stop is Travis Kelsey and then Isaiah Pacheco in the run game. Everybody else, you're kind of like, I want you. I want to have you to beat me. Like if
Mm-hmm.
it's if it's Rashid Rice, which maybe he's the next guy that you're thinking about maybe want to keep in check, but if it's Justin Watson or Marquez Valdez-Scantling, like if it's one of them, yeah, I want one of them to beat me instead of it being Travis
No doubt.
Kelce or Rice or Pacheco. So the Chiefs wide receivers gonna have to step up because honestly, they haven't been that great, this year outside of Rice coming along late. And they've been pretty dangerous for the most part with yards after the catch. So can the secondary for San Francisco make sure, hey, if the Mahomes get this ball out quick and he gets it to his guys, can we make sure the first guy wraps up and make the tackle? Because if not, Kansas City is prone to getting those yards after contacting them before you know it. Yeah, Mahomes might have only thrown the ball 20 times and maybe be 15 for 20, but he has 220 yards because they're getting the yards after the contact. Just because they're not necessarily doing it with the D ball like how they were when Tyreek Hill was there 4 years ago. Or then,
Exactly.
it's just the way that they've gotten it done here to get to this point. It's just been so, it's been fascinating, right? Because you got so used to Kansas City just pretty much lighting it up, big plays, Kelsey, Tyreek, whatever. Then it's like, all right, no Tyreek Hill. What's going to happen? There really wasn't much of a fall off because, guys were catching the ball. You know, you had a Juju Smith-Schuster. Scott Moore was making plays. They made the trade to get Kadarius Toney. He made a couple plays like in last year's
Mm-hmm.
Super Bowl. But you know, this year the guys haven't been doing much as of late besides of, you know, Rice. So what will the Chiefs wide receivers do? Because it's gonna be on them. And probably for the most part, a lot of them are gonna get a chance to be matched up one on one. Like
Yeah.
what are they gonna do? Because I'm pretty sure Fred Warner is gonna be locked in on 10. He's probably like, I got Pacheco, or if I end up dropping back something, I'm looking for 87 if he's coming
Yeah.
across the middle or something like that. So obviously there's got to be some type of bracket coverage or anything like that to try to make sure he is in the check. What are the guys gonna do on the outside to make sure they can
Mm-hmm.
try to win those one-on-ones matchup? And then for me on for San Francisco side, a guy that you mentioned before a little bit, but not as much, but it was Juwan Jennings. I mean, who can be that guy that we're not thinking about, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you like I'm just talking about Kansas City, where I'm like, all right, we got these guys, and then everybody else is kind of like, it's not like that with San Francisco. It's kind of like, all right, well, we gonna make sure Ayuk don't do anything. Well, there's Debo saying, oh, there's George Kittle. You know what I'm saying? Oh, well, we gonna make sure everything in the hash marks is fine. Well, there's Ayuk down the sideline. There's McCaffrey at the back. They got so many different weapons,
Yeah.
and then it's like, I forgot I can do this little pass to the flat out here to use check. You know, I mean, you know what I'm saying?
Let him
They
go
have
get his
so many.
little 20
Yeah,
yard real quick.
yeah. They got so many weapons out there, so it's just kind of like you might tend to forget about somebody. Then before you know it, there goes Juwan Jennings down the sideline. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mm-hmm.
you know, can he be that other guy? To where let's just say if whoever they do have in check, if if Debo isn't having the game that he wants, or they're not really finding Ayuk, or George Kittle is quiet, who else is going to be the other guy to help out? To kind of must be, be that third or fourth guy to help even more when it's time to find somebody. So to me it's either it's the Chiefs wide receivers as a whole, what they got to do to get better, and then Juwan Jennings for San Francisco.
Don't
Now
be surprised. Don't be surprised if you see Ward on Rasheed Rice.
I think that'll probably happen. That'll probably happen that way too.
Don't be surprised.
Yeah.
Don't be surprised. I don't
Do you
because
do you think do you think that he'll like travel? Because I know like normally in a way they
maybe
keep. I know for the most part they did used to keep like Ward on one side, but do you
yeah,
think for this one they'll
maybe not all the time.
right?
Maybe not all the time, but I definitely could see him following him because he's not gonna see a lot of Travis Kelce. I think that's gonna be the linebackers and safety dealing with Travis Kelce. I think Rasheed Rice is the one where he got loose a couple times on Baltimore and it hurt him. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw Ward on Rice a little bit. Just try to take him take him out of some stuff, take him out of the game plan a little bit. I wouldn't be surprised.
For sure, for sure. Now, on a lighter note, we got the halftime show.
Yes.
We got our guy. We
Yeah.
got Mr. Usher Raymond, the fourth.
Yeah.
I mean,
The four.
the fourth. I ain't gonna lie. Like I know, like last year, I was excited, like for Rihanna, like performance, but I didn't
Yeah,
know
yeah,
what to
yeah, yeah, yeah.
expect. I didn't know what to expect because I was just
Mm-hmm.
like, I mean, like I'm a fan, but I'm not like I wouldn't be like, oh, I just know all the words to the song,
Yeah,
but
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Usher,
We,
what,
I'm gonna
what
know
boy did I say?
these.
But Usher,
Yeah, we
like,
gonna know these for sure.
what do you think? Like, who did you? They say it's gonna be a special guest, but who you thinking? Like, do you think like, do you think it's gonna be more of his pop tracks? Like, do you think it's strictly gonna be pop, or will they let him get a few of those R&B classics in there too? Like, I'm not expecting like like Nice and Slow or nothing like that
Yeah,
or
yeah,
anything
nah, nah,
like that.
nah.
But like, do you think that we could get? Like, I know for I know for a fact, yeah, gotta be one of the songs for
Oh no, for
sure.
sure.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah,
it
nah.
just has to be
Look, you're
right.
gonna see Ludacris and Lil Jon. They're gonna be, yeah, they're gonna do that for sure. They they're gonna have to let them get some of those. I mean, R&B is what he does, so it can't be all his pop stuff. Like, there's no way you leave off some of those classics that he has, those
Yeah,
R&B
like I
classics. There's
mean,
no way you can't leave some. You leave
can
some of
like
those out.
like
But
I
special
don't know if
guest,
he can get I don't know if he can get her, but if he could get like Alicia Keys to come out there and they do my boo, I mean, you feel me? Like you can't tell me that wouldn't.
yeah,
You know what I
that'd be
mean?
tough. That'd be tough. That'd be tough.
I
I
mean, I
don't know,
know.
man. I don't know who he would. So actually, to be honest with you, this is the first time I'm hearing about this with a special guest. This is the first time I heard this. So that's just like, okay, what features does he have? Where it's like, is it a feature or is it somebody? He's gonna let somebody do a couple like one or two songs.
That's
That's the thing.
right, right.
That's the thing. Like, is it someone that is on the same like vibe and he lets them get a song in or two? Maybe someone that he has on the feature, he lets them get off and do a song real quick or one or two, and then he rolls back into it. I don't know. Um, but he's going to do some of his R&B. There's no way he doesn't do some of his R. It can't be all, like you said. It can't be all pop stuff. There's no way. There's no way. I would be shocked. I'll I'll put it like this: if there wasn't a song on that set list from Confessions, I would be you. I would lose all my money. I would lose
Yeah.
any money that I bet. I lose it all. There's no way. There's no way. So um, it should be good, man. It should be good for sure. He gonna do his thing, man. He gonna do his
Yeah,
thing. He gonna
yeah.
do his thing for sure.
I I think this is the most for me that I can say the most anticipated halftime show that I've been like looking forward to in a
Yeah, I
while.
could.
Like I said, I know like Rihanna for last year was like, oh okay, that's nice. So I'm cool with that. You know what I mean? Because
No
I
doubt.
was thinking like, oh, it's so many songs that she can go with, and
Hmm.
due to the fact that she hadn't even put out no new music, and we was
Yeah,
like,
yeah, yeah.
it
That's
was
true
like,
too.
oh, it's so many songs that I can think of. Well, it's like with Usher, it's even more like unlimited to because it's like yeah he got all his stuff from way back then, and he even the new music he got now. So then it's like okay, do you think maybe possibly a 21 Savage? Do you think
Chris Brown.
I don't yeah
That's the name that's popped in my head. Chris Brown.
that would be
Book it right now.
turned
Book it right now. Literally, I was just sitting here. The name that popped in my head, Chris Brown. That's
that
it.
if Chris
That's
Brown
my
come
that's
out,
my that's
bro.
my
If Chris
that's my
Brown come
vote.
out, that'll be turned, bro. I don't know. I'm gonna go safe and say Will I Am, and they'll do Oh My God. They'll do Oh My God, just to kind of
Okay,
let them get off a
that's a
couple.
that's
But
a that's a safe one. That's a safe one.
but I don't know, man. But I can't wait for sure. I can't wait because I just know like I know another thing that's gonna be different with it too is, granted, it's because we kind of figured out halfway through the performance. We were like, oh snap, Rihanna is pregnant because we was wondering like, no moving, no real dancing, none of that stuff. Well, we
They
know.
really he getting up there. He
Yeah,
getting busy.
yeah. He gonna get us what we need. You know what I mean? I mean, he's been out there in Vegas for a couple years now doing a residency tour. So, I mean, he already know how to rock the crowd anyway. So it's
Yeah,
gonna
yeah.
be it's gonna be crazy, man. I can't wait. Right. So then when you think about all this, right, the fact that Kansas City being in there what fourth Super Bowl here in the last 5 years, um, they've got the experience of being in this game. But obviously, there's a few guys on that San Francisco roster too who's on that in that Super Bowl 54 game, right? When you think about it, just because of how the Super Bowl is, it's
Hmm.
not. The guys can say, "Oh, this is just another game," but at the same time, like it's not your normal game, right? Because you got the pre-game shenanigans. Well, I don't want to say shenanigans, but the pre-game stuff that you got with far as like the national anthem and
Yeah.
everything like that, and how they're gonna do, and the commercial breaks, and then the extended halftime show. The extended
Hmm.
halftime. So it's just kind of like with Kansas City being there more times than San Francisco has been a couple years. Do you really think there's a real edge in this for them just because they've been to it here a lot more recently than San Francisco?
Yes, but those young guys, there's a lot of young guys that haven't been there. You still got a lot of young guys that have not been there. And those dudes for San Francisco, a lot of those dudes that were on that San Francisco team that lost to Kansas City were still in San Francisco. So it's not like, Debo was on that squad. Ayuk was on that squad, right? Trent Williams was on that squad. Fred Warner, Greenlaw, like Nick Bosa, like those dudes were on that team. Like, so they know what that Ward wasn't. Ward was in that Super Bowl. He was just
But with
playing
Kansas, yeah,
for
with
Kansas
Kansas
City.
City,
So
right?
like those dudes, they know what it looks like. They know what it entails. So I don't think that that's going to be too big of a, or that's not going to be a big advantage for Kansas City because a lot of those guys for San Francisco have been in this game before. They were in the game a couple years ago, or they've played in these games with other teams. So um, I think San Francisco will be all right. The biggest one obviously is Brock Purdy. You know, biggest one is Brock Purdy and how he deals with it because it's different for him. He was not the quarterback when San Francisco got to the Super Bowl that year that there a couple years ago. Now he has played in essentially really he's only played in one NFC Championship game, but he's played in two,
Right.
you know, NFC Championship games. So he's played in big games. This is obviously the biggest game of his career, biggest game he's played in to date. So it'll be different for him, but he's gonna have veteran guys that he can lean on for advice, for to help calm him down. Which is why I go back to my point of running the ball and being effective running the football to help ease anything that he might feel, any pressure, or anything he might feel because of the experience or lack thereof for a Brock Purdy. When you have a lot of those guys on offense and defense who have been in this situation, who've been in the Super Bowl um, against this particular opponent, I think that's also a good thing too. That like I said, a lot of these guys, they were in that game against Kansas City when they were up 10 points in the fourth quarter. Like they were in this same situation. They were there. So it's good I think it'll be good for those guys. But the biggest advantage will be at the quarterback position. Outside of that, I think those guys that have been there, they know the stain of defeat. They know what it felt like to lose to KC a couple of years ago. So I think they'll be fine. I think they'll be fine.
All right. One more thing before we get into the predictions. So legacy wise, right? Obviously for Pat Mahomes, 7 years in the
Hmm.
league, 6 years as a starter. At worst, always getting to the conference championship in his fourth Super Bowl here. If they come out on top on Sunday and pretty much kind of label this, I don't I don't like throwing the D word out there, but that'll be
Hmm.
that'll mean that would be three rings in 5 years.
Something like that.
Somewhere in there. I mean, first back to back in over 20 years. So where does this if Kansas City finds a way to get this dub on Sunday, where does this move Mahomes like on this all time list? Because I guess I'm asking like currently where would you have him now? And then if they win and he gets ring number three, where do you put him? Where does he get moved to after that?
I'm a little different, man. A lot of them. I don't say there have been a lot of quarterbacks that won 3 Super Bowls, but there's more than 2, 3 quarterbacks that won 3 Super Bowls, right? Maybe not in the same amount of time, right? Maybe not the same amount of time, but there are multiple quarterbacks that have 3 Super Bowls. I think if he was to win it, he definitely would start creeping into that. I think he's already probably a top 10 quarterback, so I think he'll start to move into that top, if not top five. I guess he's starting to move to that top five. Um, I still the whole he's the greatest, he's the greatest, he's the greatest. I'm not a Tom Brady guy at all at any stretch of the imagination, but I heard something earlier this week that was brought to my attention that makes a lot of sense. People have been saying Patrick Mahomes is the greatest of all time. He's the greatest quarterback of all time. He's chasing Tom Brady, but he's the greatest of all time. Well, Tom Brady beat Patrick Mahomes twice, and one time in the Super Bowl, one time in the AFC Championship game, and then one time in the Super Bowl. I've
Yeah.
always been told to beat a man, you got to beat the man, and he didn't beat the man, and he's never have an opportunity to beat the man because the man has retired. So, um, this is definitely a run that we haven't seen since those New England Patriot teams with Tom Brady and Bill Belichick. But um, I think if he wins this, I mean, it just continues to cement the legend that of Patrick Mahomes. I think it will be big just because of the way, and I talked about this. We talked about this a couple of episodes ago. The way that he has done it, going on the road and showing, okay, no, I can do this away from Arrowhead. I can do this away from Arrowhead Stadium. I can go on the road and win in 2 hostile environments to get to the Super Bowl and then win it. So that would definitely be big for his legacy for sure. Um, but people already have him as the greatest of all. I don't think he's the greatest of all time. I think that's something that you need to continue to show over a career. I'm not saying that he won't. I think it's like, hey man, like let's let this thing keep playing out. Like, there's a man out there that won 7 of them. Like let's once again, like let's. I hear you because the boy is a dog and he's the best quarterback in the NFL right now. He's the best quarterback we've seen in a long time, right? But like there's a man out there that has 7 rings. Let's just throw that out there. So, um, I think it's definitely going to help his legacy. For me, it's going to help his legacy because of how it was done. Not the fact that they won, but how in the journey and the road they had to take to get there. Not so much that they won it. So that's how I feel about it. Um, some people might feel a little differently, but that's how I feel. Like man, like they finally did what this is what I've been waiting on. You know it. We talked about it. You said it. Like I've been waiting to see them go on the road and win playoff games en route to a Super Bowl, and they went away from doing it and shutting me up. So,
Yeah, for me, I would say he was in like the top 10 all time for me already, just because of the
hmm
numbers, the accolades, and everything like that. Um, but I also know, like, as far as when it comes to the position in quarterbacks, they do look at the number of rings, and there are some guys that's still ahead of him right now. As
hmm
for now, with just the number of rings, but to me, if he wins this on Sunday, I think at that point I would have to put him at, I would say, maybe 3 or 4
okay,
all time. I would still put him behind Joe Montana,
okay,
and I would still put him behind Tom Brady.
okay.
And but I think everybody else, yeah, surpass for sure if he wins this one, just
hmm
because um I think it's kind of what I was watching the pivot earlier today, and they were discussing this, and uh I don't know if it was Ryan Clark who said it or if it was Fred Taylor, but it was more so like Tom Brady is the GOAT. Like he's the greatest of all time. I not a ton, like you said, not a Tom Brady fan. Can't You know, that's it's kind of for sports for me. I have certain teams and certain names of players trigger me. Okay,
Mm,
Tom Brady is one of them. Mario Chalmers is another one. Yeah. You know, Kansas, yeah,
yeah.
Duke, Duke. You know, it's just some of it's just
Yeah.
it's just whatever. So, but I have to give credit where credit is due, and he's the goat. And until somebody surpasses him with that many rings, which I think is going to be hard to do, he's the goat. Now, Pat Mahomes will be the best I ever seen play the position. Sure. Because I think that's what, like I said, I can't remember if it was Fred Taylor or if it was Ryan Clark, but that's kind of what their juxtaposition was on it. Tom Brady is the GOAT, but he's the best I've ever seen. But Mahomes is the best I've ever seen. Or I think they use Rodgers as an example too, whatever.
Roger
But
bad too.
yeah, but it's
Yeah.
just like, it is what it is. But yeah, I think at that point, you three rings in 7 years, that's the trajectory of pretty much the first half of Brady's career. So I can kind of see it. But me personally, I can't call nobody who's currently playing
That,
the
and
what I'm
that's
saying, the
part of my problem
greatest.
too, man. Like
I
the
can't
boy's
do
still
that.
playing. He's still playing. Like all these dudes, like the man is still playing.
Yeah.
And it's not like playing where it's like, yeah, like he's on year 15, like he has like two more. You're like, no, he's in year 7.
Right.
He could play for another 10
10
years.
years.
Like, let's slow down, man. Like, give the man a chance to go get
like
it. Like, let's
like
not give it to him.
it was different calling Tom Brady the GOAT at that point because all right, let's just be real, right? Once he made the comeback and they gave him ring number 5, at that point he already had more rings than any other player then. He had more rings than any other player then.
Yeah,
So it was like, all right, that he's the GOAT. He could retire right now and we can be like, he's the GOAT. And he went out and got 2 more rings. Okay. So it was like that was different, you know what I mean? And I know that's what I'm saying. People saying like, well, y'all was calling Brady the GOAT when he was still playing. Yeah, he earned it at that point. It was we know eventually it was gonna be coming time for him to retire. The man had been playing
yeah,
since the Madden was everybody was built the same.
yeah,
Nobody,
exactly.
yeah,
Yeah, everybody look,
yeah,
the whole line of quarterbacks and receivers all look
all
exactly the
looked
same.
exactly the same. So it's like, what are we talking about? The man is still playing. He still got, how, like you said, and maybe if he stays healthy and
Mhm.
everything goes right, because that's the thing, right? Everything still like it's hard to win these type of games. Like things have to go right in your favor. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like I know people can't stand it as far as like Brady with how many rings he got, but think about each one of those rings for what had to happen, right? I mean, the tuck rule, however you did it for the other two, the Malcolm Butler interception, the comeback, the cat, it's just so many things
Yeah,
that had to happen that you have to have happen for you to get to that point. And it's hard to win in the NFL, bro. Like if it was that easy, he would have won them all. You know what I'm
for
saying?
sure,
Like he would
for
have won them
sure.
all. So like it's very hard. It's hard to do, and I just can't give somebody the title as the GOAT at that position, and we don't know what the rest has for him. You know what I mean? So I don't know, but I don't know. I can't call him the GOAT, but yes, the best right now for sure by far is head and shoulders above everybody else,
It's him and
and
everybody else.
that's not changing anytime soon for sure. But with Sunday, when it comes down to it, who you got hoisting up the Lombardi Trophy in 2024 here for Super Bowl 58?
I'm gonna take the San Francisco 49ers to win the Super Bowl. I'm gonna take the 49ers because I think that they know the performances they put up, especially defensively, the performances they put up in those first halves of those games are not indicative of the defense that we've seen all year, and are not indicative of the defenses that we saw come out in that second half of both of those games and play good football, play the brand of football that we know them to play. And I think because Kyle Shanahan is going to do what got them there and use the weapons that he has to take them to the pinnacle. He's going to use Christian McCaffrey. He's going to use Deebo Samuel. He's going to utilize George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk. He's going to run the football and make and make Kansas City defense have to bring extra bodies in the box to then take advantage of those one opportunities on the outside. Because those corners and those DBs for Kansas City can and have a tendency to be a little handsy, especially Snead. As physical as he is handsy. He does get called for some PIs and some holdings. But I think because they're going to run the football, I think that San Francisco is going to win this football game. I believe they're going to see what Buffalo was doing in that first half and what Baltimore did not do throughout the whole game and say, we cannot repeat what these two teams did. Because both those teams should have and could have beaten Kansas City and did not because of their unwillingness to run the ball. So I'm going with San Fran. I'm going with San Fran. I don't think they lose to Kansas City twice. I think that they figure it out. I think Kyle Shanahan figures it out and learns from a couple of years ago, years prior to that. And San Francisco is hosted that Lombardi Trophy. I'm going to go San Fran. San Fran.
To me, this has the makings of where uh, it should fall into the hands of San Francisco. I mean, honestly, on paper, they have the better team. Like
Mm-hmm.
overall roster, they have the better team. I think you can debate on defensively who you rather take.
Mm-hmm.
I still think it's a slight edge even to San Francisco on that as well. But
Yeah.
it's real close. But when you look at the weapons, obviously San Francisco much better than Kansas City weapons.
Yeah.
But I think the difference maker is at quarterback.
Yeah.
I don't know if you can get to the point where you can use the same logic for Mahomes that you used to use on Brady, where you'd be like, I can't bet against him. But it's this damn near close to it.
This year,
It-
that's what this playoff run. That's what it seems
It's
like.
it's damn near close to it, to
Yeah.
where it's like you might as well throw your house on there, throw the money on there for Kansas City, because it just seems
Mm-hmm.
like because to be honest, the teams that they've all played, maybe outside of Miami, just because of whatever, with Buffalo, Baltimore for sure, to
Mm-hmm.
me had the better teams, but they just things here and there that didn't go their way, or they didn't take advantage of, and that made a difference. And I think you can't give a guy like 1-5 any type of opportunity like that, because he's going to
Yeah.
take advantage of it. I'm gonna roll with Kansas City. I
Okay.
think they find a way to run the ball successfully too against that 49ers defense. I think Pacheco has a heck of a game, and I really do think that somebody from that wide receiver core for Kansas City is going to have to make some type of impact.
Mm-hmm.
I think Kelsey get his, not 11 for 116 get his, but I think he get his. Um, but somehow, some way, one of those wide receivers find a way to come up big. And the defense continues to keep making opportunistic plays
Mm-hmm.
against teams and against their opponents, and they find a way to get it done. And I'm gonna roll with Kansas City. I'm gonna take the Chiefs over San Francisco.
You got a score?
27-21. I don't think it'll be
20.
like I don't think it'll be as high scoring as it was last year. Um, I'd be shocked if it was, just because we got two good defenses. I mean, I'm not expecting, I'm not expecting Super Bowl 53. I'm not expecting 13-3 or whatever it was with the Patriots and Rams. Not expecting that, but I don't think it'd be a shootout like last year either.
Okay. Okay.
What's your score? What score you got?
I'm thinking 31-27. I'm thinking 31-27.
Man, I'd be shocked. I don't think nobody's going over 30, bro. I'd be shocked
That's all
though.
I'm saying. I would be shocked too, but I think that it might take it.
They need one of those to get it. I got you. I see
They
what you're
might
saying.
take it. They
Yeah.
might take it. So I'm gonna go 31-27.
Now I will say this: if San Francisco gets this done, I think that'll be a huge like just monkey off of Kyle Shanahan's back.
Now,
I mean, because you got to think, right? Like he's pretty much had it twice. It
twice.
was in his, you know what I'm saying, in his hands, right? And it's just, things
Shit.
happen. It is what it is, but it's just like, man, it's gonna get to the point where it's like, all right, do you want to be? Can we, once you get this, do you want to be in the realms like with your pops? You're a Super Bowl champion coach, or are you gonna be Dan Reeves? I mean, very successful, won a lot of games, but no championships to show for. You know, I mean, yeah, he has a lot on the line too, for sure. Because especially if it ends up kind of, hopefully it don't, but if it ends up being the same way where it's like he has a lead and it's just, oh my goodness,
But third one, when you have a lead, now granted, the first one he was not the head coach, but you got a lead, and you got a lead in the last two. One in the fourth quarter, one with 2-3 minutes left in the third, and couldn't hang on. So we'll see, man. It'll definitely be a weight off of his shoulders for sure. It'll be a weight
yeah.
off his shoulders. They can figure it out.
Who you think is winning MVP?
McCaffrey. McCaffrey.
Mahomes.
I think it'd be McCaffrey.
Yeah,
I almost wanted to say Purdy, man. Don't let Purdy win that thing. Purdy win that MVP, boy.
that'll be insane.
Everybody better shut up talking about Brock Purdy. Everybody shut up.
Yeah,
Stop. Whoever
yeah,
been talking all that cash about Brock Purdy, you gotta shut up.
yeah.
Be quiet.
You gotta,
Hirsch.
you just gotta hold
Hirsch.
it
Take
for
the L.
sure.
Not
You gotta
hush.
hold it.
Not hush. Hirsch. I'm going to
Yeah,
Memphis with you.
yeah.
Hirsch. Shut it up.
Yeah. They
Put an
just
R in that thing.
they gonna have to hold that L, boy, for
Hold it.
sure. They gonna
So,
have to
but
hold
now
it.
I'm gonna go McCaffrey. I think McCaffrey is the MVP. I think he's I think he get ready to ball. I think he's gonna have one
Yeah,
of the, I
yeah.
think he's gonna
I
have one
think
of those
he's gonna.
performances.
Yeah,
I think he's gonna have one of those performances.
because they just they can't shut down everybody. So
Mm-mm.
somebody's gonna get off for sure. It's pick your poison. Somebody's gonna get off. I just That's just the nature of it.
That's it.
I honestly don't remember the last time where everybody just was in check from them
Hmm.
in a game. I really can't think of the last time. So I don't know, man. Should be a good one though. Can't wait to see what happens. Side note, I wanna. I don't know how I can do this, but I wish I could find a way to where we make the day after the Super Bowl a national holiday. I don't know what to call it, but some has to be done to where we just make that a national holiday where we just get that next day off to just recover.
From all the Super
Uh,
Bowl festivities.
yeah, from all the Super Bowl festivities and just to reflect on what happened,
Yeah,
you
yeah, yeah.
know, and we can just stay home and do that because depending on what you do and where you work at for a living, that might be hard for you to try to talk to anybody the next day
That's true.
about it. You know what I'm saying? So
That's true.
that might be kind of tough. I don't know. Only thing I could think of is you call it Super Monday. I don't know.
Something, yeah. Super
I,
Bowl Monday.
I don't know. I
Something.
don't know.
I
I
hear
don't
you.
know. I don't know what we need to call it, but I think we should have everybody should just have that next day off.
You ain't trying to talk
Okay,
to them folks up there at work. That's what it
man,
is. Yeah.
just had that next day off. I mean,
You trying
can
to
we
stay away from
can we replace it with another holiday? I don't know. Some gotta be done. I don't know what could we do with it, but that's just my 2 cents on that. But I'm gonna leave that alone, man.
I
I'm
don't
gonna leave
know.
that alone.
I don't know what's going to happen for
Yeah, I'm already knowing, man. But go ahead and wrap this thing up, man. You got any words you want to say to the people?
you. Enjoy the game. Enjoy the game. On Sunday, enjoy the Super Bowl. This is it. This football season is officially over. It's always a tough part of the year. Yeah. Well, in the basketball, the NBA is going to get hot and heavy, which is good, but there's nothing like football season. There's nothing like football season. So enjoy
Yeah,
it. Enjoy the time with your folks, wherever you're watching the game, wherever you're doing. Be safe. Be smart. Um, just be smart and be safe, please. Enjoy the game and be safe. Um, that's it, man. That's it. Enjoy. It should be a good one. It should be a good one for sure. And then, hey, just be quiet during the commercials. People, I don't know what they're going. I don't. They're normally pretty good, but we would like to hear. We would like to hear them because they normally are pretty funny. Be quiet. Let us listen to the commercials, okay?
yeah,
Let us hear them. All right. That's it. That's all I got. Peace and love.
yeah. Yeah, man. Same for me. Let's just enjoy it. Enjoy the game on Sunday. Yeah, wherever y'all going, be out, have fun. Do it responsibly though. We don't want to have any type of issues. Big
Hmm.
or small, no matter what it is. Just let's enjoy ourselves. Enjoy this game. It should be a good one for sure. Um, Continue to support the podcast. Like and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Follow us on the social medias. We we enjoy that a lot. For any type of feedback or sharing or anything that you guys do with us. Love Black women, cherish Black women, protect Black women. No means no.
No means no.
You know, Super Bowl parties that you're gonna be going out to this weekend. Like I said, we all having fun, but at the end, still in responsibly. Be aware of your surroundings. Be careful what you're doing. You know what I'm saying? It's just all I's dotted, all T's crossed for sure. Uh, man, I really don't have anything else, man. If you haven't yet, go out and go do something supporting Black History Month. You know what I'm saying? You got to do that easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whether it be at a museum, um, a park, whatever. Just go out, just
Something.
try to do something to support. Yeah,
Yeah.
support a small business, whatever the case may be, for sure. Do that. Continue to just continue to stay safe out here, man. Until the next time, this has been another episode of the Easy Money Sports Podcast.
Peace.